that was a big mindset shift. Kind of like, oh, well, fuck it. Like, you've done it. It's working. Let's give it a try. And then from that, you get the results. And then that also builds your confidence, right? You actually understood what the problems were. And that was another big turning point as well. It shows that you actually care about us. You're actually showing us, okay, this works, do it. Here's a plug and play template, just do it and it works. The results that came through was what made me go, yeah, fuck that, I'm signing up again next year, because it was just like an incredible shift in 3 months.
Welcome to Swift Coaches Academy, a podcast dedicated to bringing health and wellness professionals the uncensored truth behind what it really takes to succeed in the health industry with me, your host, Xenia Wood. As an accredited exercise physiologist and business owner for almost a decade, I'm on a mission to transform the lives of ambitious health professionals like you who want more and are ready to take action to create incredible impact in your careers and unlock financial freedom in your business. So join me as I speak candidly with industry leaders about the struggles and successes from within the trenches through thought-provoking conversations. Chloe Walker, how are you, gal?
I am doing great, thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Went for a little river walk this morning with a friend and yeah, feeling good. What about you?
That's good. I had a lazy morning with the dogs, to be honest, but yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
I love seeing all of your dog stuff on the gram all of the time and your new little puppy.
He's such a terror.
Anyway, let's get into who you are. Miss Chloe Walker, we've been working together now in the business mentorship since just over a year, I believe. You signed up into our mini biz, which has sort of been revamped into our Irresistible Offers course. And then it's coming up to your 12 months inside the business mentorship program. So today, I want to talk to you a little bit about that, how that has been for you, what successes, what challenges you've had as well. But why don't I let you do a little bit more intro on who you are, where you live, and what your goals are with your business.
Yeah, sure thing. So I guess I'm an exercise physiologist. I work in that sort of women's health space. I live in a little town called Strathalbyn in South Australia. And business goals. You know what? That's such an interesting thing, because even in the last 12 months, I feel like they've just evolved a ton, which is super exciting. But, where I started off, I was just like I still am, I guess, a sole trader, but started out opening up my own studio out of home. Like most of us who go through uni to be allied health, knew nothing about business and not really know how to run things, and kind of just like learning as I go. And then I guess came across you. We started working with you, probably September last year, I think it was. And then from there, I've just absolutely like so much growth and so much excitement things, and opening my eyes to these other goals that I never actually thought I would actually be wanting or looking to achieve, I think.
It's so cool. And I've loved being able to be part of or see your evolution and with that, because I think sometimes we have these goals and we're like, oh, one day I'll have my own facility, and you kind of just take one step at a time, right? You're not like, I'm going to be this international superstar. But then you recently did your first interstate presentation for women's health.
Yeah.
It's something that you sort of never thought was going to be on the cards, and now we're really branching into that. So why don't you explain maybe where you were in your business in terms of, like, obviously you're working at home, like in terms of client numbers, in terms of how you were running things versus where you are working now and what that looks like and the change.
Yeah, I definitely think if you have like a before and after picture for before and now, there'd be so much changes that are going on. But I was just working out of home. I had a handful of clients. I got from like trying to do a bunch of, I guess, like newsletter droppings, Medicare referrals, just trying to promote, I suppose what I thought I was doing was promoting back then anyway. Fast forward to now, I moved into my first commercial space, I think 8 weeks ago now, which is kind of flown by. Have good like 30 plus clients. Books are basically full, and now I'm trying to grow my online space as well. And like you said, I've done my first little speak my little talk, which I absolutely love doing. What was the other question?
I think it just so you had a
Yeah.
handful of clients. Now you're effectively at full
Yeah.
capacity. You
Yeah.
have a commercial facility. We have a new
Mhm.
space.
Mhm.
What about the group program stuff that we're embarking on?
Yes, that's another thing. God, so many spinning plates. It's great. So working with you well, I should like take a step back because I know I've told you this story, but I basically the way I came into doing my own business was I wanted to work with women with PCOS and create an online program for them, because when I was diagnosed with PCOS, I was, doing all the deep dive research and looking into things and trying to find people to help me. But then I realized there's a couple of things that were going on. There was just no one who was specialized in the area. You'd have to travel to see them, whether interstate or internationally, which was crazy. Or I just couldn't find them, right? Like they weren't really easy to find. And then the other thing is a lot of the time they just give you such really BS information, like go and lose weight or do this and do that, and the things that don't really work. Or being told there's nothing we can really do for you, just come back when you want to get pregnant, which again is such a common story for people. And so from that, I wanted to do this online program to make it accessible for women to get the right information. And that was how I thought this is what I want to go into. And then I kind of got a little bit sidetracked from that when I started my own business. And now I've circled back around to actually addressing, I guess, my little origin story. So working on doing an online coaching course for PCOS for women that they can do 100% online. And yeah, building that up with you, which is great because again, I think it's taken me a while to do it because I just wasn't really sure how to. So you've
Hmm.
been a big help there.
Thank you. And maybe on that too, like as part of the mentorship or, specifically looking into that group stuff, what have you found has been really helpful in helping you move forward with your business? Are there like key moments or ideas or things, strategies that you were like, oh my God, that really leveled me up?
Breaking down what you actually need to sell something before you've actually made it is a big thing, right? Because it's that mindset of I need to make it, I need to get it perfect before I can even start talking about it. And then you just never really launch it. You're always stuck in that creative phase. So breaking down, who you're targeting, what they're going to get out of it, looking at their results, and then reverse engineering it to give what you're talking about has really helped to actually put this thing in motion. And then looking at how to talk to people about this program as well, and where to find the people to talk to it for.
I think that's so interesting too. And I know that we've spoken about this before in terms of there is this big misconception, I believe, that you need to have everything created for a group program before you go and sell it or market it to people, when in fact, even if you're, a university, and you're just starting to have like a new course curriculum for a degree, you're not going to build out the 4-year degree before you have students enrolled. Like even the university, who you think is this quite big, successful business, they'll be like 1 semester ahead in terms of their curriculum. Yet, and same with our clients, right? Like if you've never had someone with an ACL injury who's also maybe pregnant or like has these different, you've never had someone with those specific conditions before, it's not like you have to have a program for the next 12 weeks for them before you ever start working with them. You say, yeah, absolutely. And then you go and do the research or the additional things needed to put something specifically together for them. And I think it's so interesting that when it comes to like a group thing, everyone goes, oh my God, I can't. But realistically, we already are. And I think that shift for you and a lot of people are like, oh, actually, that makes so much sense. Was that kind of like pretty correct in my recollection?
Yeah, pretty much. And I love that comparison. Like you wouldn't build a program before you've got a client for that particular issue, condition, or injury. But yeah, so you just kind of get like stuck being like, it needs to be perfect before I can even sell myself on this, even though I know how to do it. So yeah, I'm doing
Totally.
it now, like
And
with
you
my
already
clients.
have
So
like you already have clients with PCOS, you already have clients with, hormonal challenges or whatnot. And so it's not as if this is new or foreign to you. It's just now you have to sit down and actually format it and put it in a way that would work for more than one person. And so it's actually, I think, a really helpful tool to help people systemize what they do. And I think that your one-on-one clients will actually get a lot more benefit out of it, because now you're actually having to go, well, what do I tell them in week 1? And what do they need to know in week 5? And then when they get to week 12, what's the next evolution for them? So I've always found that when we teach something, not just coach, but when we actually sit down and figure out our own processes and our systems and our steps or phases, it actually, like, have you noticed that in creating it, you're already doing that with your one-on-ones?
Yeah, it's literally just systemizing and putting it in a better order as well. And I think that's one of the most common things is you find you're having the same conversations with a bunch of different people if they're coming in for the same condition. And then you're like, I need to go and like write that down or like send that to you so that you remember what I just spoke about. And it's creating that course, you kind of do that and then you can just give it to everyone, which is awesome. So you just, systemizing the process, but also getting better results for clients because you are then actually step by step what they need to do and giving them that clear information rather than rambling it to them on the gym floor and then be like, oh, cool, like let's talk about this again next week. So
Totally. And so why don't we step back into, because that's, I guess, focusing on, you're effectively at capacity for one-on-one. We're now creating group programs, but what about that process of going from I'm at home, I've got a handful of clients only, I don't really know what I'm doing with business, I'm kind of fumbling my way through, to then getting to full capacity. What was that like? And what were the big hurdles that you got over or were really impactful?
do you know what? I think the biggest thing was that mindset shift, that what I'm providing is valuable. And it sounds really silly when you say it because you go, of course, what I'm doing is valuable. But I think as allied health practitioners, our number one goal is to help people. So sometimes we do go out of our way to try to help that person a little bit more at our own expense, which isn't always the best. So setting those sort of like, well, no, this is what I charge, but this is what I'm offering. I think switching that mindset to this is the value you'll get and giving exceptional value for what you're charging people, then go, well, awesome, like it's irresistible, right? Like, of course I'm going to jump into that. But building the confidence in myself as well to when I'm presenting that, like, this is what it costs to work with me, that is a big shift as well. Because when you're confident in what you're charging, then people go, oh, yeah, okay. But when you kind of doubt it, I think that kind of passes on to people. And it's like, well, if you don't really value this, then why would I? So that was a big mindset shift. And then another big turning point was focusing on results rather than session by session, right? So focusing on, okay, well, this is actually what we want to get you to achieve. This is what it's going to take to do it, rather than, well, let's get you in for week to week and then hopefully we'll get there. And that was another big turning point as well, because then you get that buy-in for longer. And when you actually get people results, they do want to stick in and they want to shout your praises to people as well, because they're seeing the value, but they're getting the results. So that was a big shift. And then moving to the commercial space, bigger space means I can now actually work with people on like a 2-to-1 capacity. But I've also started like a semi-private training as well, which is up to 8 people to give more. Because what I was finding was people want more, but I wasn't able to really offer that in my space at home. So that was one of the things that I was kind of sitting there twiddling away, being like, I need this space to be ready so I can keep growing and help more people essentially.
And so what was the deciding factor, if there was maybe one or two things, in going from, okay, like I can't actually continue to go at home, I'm going to take that leap and go into a commercial space, which is, more overheads for you, it's a bigger risk. Like, what helped you feel confident and comfortable to take that next step?
Knowing my numbers, right? Like knowing what I've got coming in, the people I've got coming in, and knowing is that kind of that little bit of pain now for longer term gain. Like I know it's going to be a little bit of I've got to work a bit harder now, but it provides me the opportunity to grow, to hire people, to do group classes, So in the long run, it was knowing that it's going to be the better decision, even though it's going to be a little bit daunting to start with. But yeah, it's been the best decision, and I'm very happy with it.
I'm so glad. And I love that it's decked out in your, like, I don't know if you have like, if it's sage green or whatever the color you call it, but I love that it's got very Chloe vibes all over the facility.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I was like, I don't want it to feel like a gym, right? Like I don't want it to feel like a gym, but I don't want it to feel like a medical practice either. So I was like, I need to put my little spin on it, which is a bit of green. It is plants. It is that natural sort of, wood oak vibes. Because it's a enjoyable space, and I've got to be here all the time, so I want to enjoy the space I'm in too.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And all business expenses to make it decked out in Chloe-esque format. So that's epic. In terms of, I know you mentioned confidence, you mentioned knowing your numbers and things like that. Was there anything was it maybe more a gradual process in terms of building that confidence to charge what you're worth and talk through the value? Or were there any like pivotal moments that I said to you or kind of just clicked for you that went, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to actually start to step up and charge what I'm worth, or yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? Interestingly enough, it was listening to one of the podcasts that was that a podcast or did you say it? I think it was your podcast, your origin story. And you're talking about how when you were working with, your business mentors, and you're in that, like you're the little fish in the pond, and you were excelling, and then a lot of others weren't, and you're kind of wondering why they're not doing it. And the big thing you found was because you're actually doing what your mentor was telling you to do. And that was the defining factor. And I was kind of like, oh, well, fuck it. Like, you've done it. It's working. Let's give it a try. And then from that, you get the results. And then that also builds your confidence, right? Because it's confidence kind of comes out of repetition of doing things and it getting easier. And I was like, just keep remembering that, just do the fucking thing and it'll work. And that's kind of what happened. I kind of just jumped in 2 feet, not blind faith, but a little bit on faith, and was like, it can't hurt. So let's do it. And yeah, it worked.
Surprising, hey?
Surprise, right?
No, that's awesome. And I think, mentioning the, confidence is built through reps is something that obviously I hammer home quite a lot as well. And I love that you brought that up because it's so true, right? Like you can't just instill confidence in someone. I think it does have to be an evolutionary thing. And we always, if we're moving forward, are slowly chipping away at that and then finding new blockages to kind of like step over and work through. And even in terms of now you doing that speaking, that's like a whole nother hurdle or evolution of, can I do this nationally and create a program, and can I link and network? And maybe that's a good segue into talking about some of the, I guess, the strategies that we're looking now to help you scale, not just grow your business in terms of like partnerships. Did you want to talk about, like, I guess, maybe what you've learnt through the mentorship in terms of the value of those, and maybe some of the things that you're working on at the moment?
Coach, quick little interruption to let you know that we have just opened applications again for the first time in 12 months for our business mentorship program. Now, we have different levels of this to suit people who are just starting out all the way through to looking to scale their business with team, systems, and support. And can I just say that this is honestly one of my favorite parts of business, and I love working with health coaches like you who are ready to take that next step, take action, and are looking for some incredible support for a full 12 months. We have everything in here, from accountability to building confidence to giving you the actual tangible strategies, systems, processes. Everything that's mine is yours. I give you all the resources I have, including like waivers and templates and everything that you need to be really clear and know your numbers in your business, which is something I think a lot of health coaches really struggle with, and to be able to make really strong, confident decisions in your business to move it forward and take you out of side hustler mode and into business CEO ownership mode. If this is something that you have been thinking about, now is absolutely the time, because I only have a few spots available. I always limit this because I get to work one-on-one with every single human who joins our program, which is something that really lights me up. So if you have been thinking about this, then now is absolutely the time. Link is in the show notes, and I cannot wait to have a chat with you, see if this is right for you, and hopefully work with you in 2024.
Yeah, so I suppose like the scaling is really those group classes and that online program where I can help more people. Because, you know, only being one person, if I stick with this one-by-one model, I'm going to be pretty stuck. And I love everyone that I work with, so it's harder to help more people when you just don't have any more time in the day. And then, yeah, looking at partnerships is, I guess, the next sort of step for me, with a few different ideas that are brewing. I have got a partnership at the moment, which I can't give, I probably shouldn't give too much details away yet, but something pretty cool is coming, and it is working, that idea of working with partnerships to create more for the clients I'm working with, and also just the people in the local area as well. That is a bit of a scary step, I think, when you do that, because you're just like, oh, like, you got to get past this idea of, oh, I can do it by myself, when it could be so much easier and quicker to get someone else involved in it as well. And even just, I suppose, looking at that talk I did up in Brizzy with the girls that are doing a pretty cool movement up there. Yeah, it's bringing together different people to provide more value for just, yeah, people, depending on what it is that they want in health and fitness and everything, I guess.
And it's a win-win too, right? I think one of the misconceptions with partnerships is, oh, well, what if, you know, they're already paying me, say, $100, like, then, you know, paying someone else potentially, like, is that going to mean that they won't work with me anymore? And I think that really can lead into that scarcity mentality of, oh, well, you know, I need to keep them, this client is mine, and sort of almost like that, you know, hoarding client kind of mentality, instead of like, what's actually best for the client? Because clients, as with most people in our life, will come and go, and they're there for times and reasons, and some stay longer than others. But understanding that, you know, if you were the client, or if it was your mom or someone you really love and care about, like, what would be best for them. And this is not saying like, go and like send your clients away and say, don't work with me, but how do we create win-win partnerships where each party gets a piece of the pie and the client benefits from this, and that, yes, they're probably going to pay more for it, or you create something scalable, so it's, you know, a worksheet or a PDF or an ebook or a video webinar, or how can we not create more work and more time for us? Because like you said, you're capped with one-on-one, but you know, you have so much knowledge in your head. You've already got this presentation now with PCOS. Like, in my head right now, I'm thinking like, girl, we need to be getting this on like somewhere that is recorded, that you do and you send out to people, and like that becomes marketing and things that you can just go and send to like 20 different women's health clinics, and then it has like a QR code for them to come and work with you or join your program, and something that becomes a little bit more of an ongoing marketing strategy for you. And that's just, I know we haven't spoken about that, but like, that's kind of just, yeah,
new ideas coming in right now. Hey,
yeah,
better write this down.
But I think that's where it goes, right? Like, if you like you said, you've already created it, you've got the systems, you've got the steps in place. And if people are listening to this going, well, I don't have those steps in place, well, maybe it's time to start thinking about it. Because I think sometimes it takes us, you know, a bad client experience or someone to say, hey, I'm not happy with your service, to be like, oh my God, fuck. And then sometimes you do scramble. Like, I definitely have scrambled a little bit, being like, what else could I do? How can I make this better? Like, thank you for giving me the feedback. How do I go out of my way to make it better? But the question that I followed up with myself with that was, why wasn't I doing that in the first place? Yeah. You know, like, why wasn't I giving the ultimate care before someone came to me and said, I have a problem? And that shift for me was fucking huge, because I realized like, I could be doing more, I could be giving this, or I could be doing that, or, you know, what else can I create that continues to add value, particularly if you've had clients for a long period of time and the initial value seems to be quite high for them. And then, you know, they are going to learn a lot of the processes and things that you do. And yes, you're always evolving, educating yourself should always be ahead of them. But the initial value is typically higher than the sustained value over a long period of time. And how can we continue to not create shit for them that they're never going to look at that's not valuable, but like, what what do they need to learn next, or what's their next result, right? Like, let's say you're working with someone, they lose weight, but then their next result is to gain muscle or to do whatever. Like, they're going to have a new problem once their initial problem has been solved, which is, I guess, kind of why we have grow in the mentorship and then scale and then mastery, because ideally you grow in year one, spend time in there doing that, and then you should be at a point where it's like, okay, I am capped at one-on-ones, I do need to scale my services. How do we go about that? Just something that
I love that. It's just like, I think that's the big difference. Like, something I've been saying a lot lately is the difference between coaching and training is the value you provide someone, right? Because like, you can go in and train someone and see you later next week and that be it. And then when you're coaching someone, you actually are going through their life with them, right? Like, week to week, whatever it is that you're coaching, whether it's rehab or whether it's like, for me, health and hormones and that sort of thing, like, that's a big difference. And I think a lot of clients actually really value that, because you're showing you care and they love it. So you're helping them. And then it comes back around and helps you, I guess.
Totally. Then that's the whole point, right? Like, we're not in business to take more than we give. In fact, we should be giving far more than we are taking or receiving. And I think that's when it works out really, really well for both parties, because everyone feels like this is an incredible opportunity and holy crap, that was, so much value for what you charged, and I would have paid you double, and we're still giving more value. So I love that. I have a little question that I think might be useful for anyone who may be considering maybe working with me, and maybe you could provide a bit more insights into why you chose me, or the differences that you might see between me and other coaches who are business coaches in the health sector.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the biggest reason for me that a couple of reasons I started with you was you're an EP like me. So you actually understood what the problems were, what, regulations, rules, that sort of thing, how the actual system works. So that was a big thing that I was looking for when I was looking for a business coach, was someone who actually understood. The second thing that really, because like I said, when I started with you, I was really early days, right? Like, I didn't have a lot coming through. So it was a bit of an investment that, it didn't take me that long to think about, but I did think about, and it was that guarantee, right? Like, that you give back if you don't get, what was it, like 2 times return on investment, that you will refund it. And I was like, well, shit, I'm either going to make the 2 times ROI on this and be sweet, or it's not going to work and she's actually going to give me the money back. So it's a no-brainer, right?
Comes back to the irresistible offer that I made you create.
Offer. Yeah. I know. I always think about that when you talk to me. I was like, that was what sold me initially. Because, especially when you haven't worked with a business coach before, or you've worked with shitty ones before, you're a lot reluctant to do it. So I think that was a really, really good thing. And then the results that came through was what made me go, yeah, fuck that, I'm signing up again next year, because it was just like an incredible shift in 3 months. And these last, what are we now, November, 11 months, 10 months that have passed, holy shit, so much has happened. And keeping you, I guess, like I said, you're in it. So it's not like a do what I say, not what I do. You actually are in it. So, you get a lot of people that will give you advice, but they're not going and doing it. So you kind of look at them and go, well, if you're not doing it, how do you know that this is what you need to do? Or how do you know that this works? So again, I think that's really good working with you, is you are going through the problems as well. So we can relate to you, or you've been through them. So it's like, Zen, this is a problem I'm going through. What the hell do I do? And you've got an answer through experience, not through theorizing, right? And you are so open about your continual learning and your mentors. And so we know that we're all just kind of chasing each other, right? Like, I'm following you, you're following your mentors, they're following their mentors, and everyone's just getting this like trickle down effect of, this is what works, do it. Save yourself a bunch of time and stress and just do the thing. And it's just made things easy, right? Like, I'm not saying that, sorry, I should say it's made things simple, not easy, because it's definitely not easy. But when you've actually got like direction, you're not fumbling around in the dark and be like, I don't know what to do from here. So that's been a really, really helpful thing.
I love that. And then, so with that, in terms of, I guess, my approach, now that you're inside it, and we obviously have a pretty lengthy relationship now, what are the things that really help you that I've done or pushed or challenged you on, or different ways? I don't know. I'm just kind of brainstorming here. Is there anything that kind of comes to mind as like, well, this approach really works for me?
I definitely think one of the biggest things is that accountability, right? Like that checking up to see if we're doing the things that we're doing, whether it's a bit of a pep talk to get out of our own head or to get out of our own way, or whether it's a bit of a slap in the face to be like, Chloe, what the fuck are you doing? I told you to do this like 3 weeks ago. Because we all need that sometimes, right? Like we do put off the hard things or the challenging things to do. But also just having a lot of the framework there for you, and like, this is what we do, this is what works, and your advice on even just different systems to do. So one of the biggest things that I really love doing is switching to like that membership approach rather than that pay as you go session, because it's just so much stress off my plate. I don't really even have to look at it unless I need to make an adjustment if someone's away or whatever. So you guide us through different ways that we can systemize things, especially as you're a sole trader, you're doing everything. Like I've got so many roles, from practitioner to admin to business manager to social media to marketer and all this stuff. So it's so helpful to be like, okay, well, let's systemize this, let's delegate this, or let's just fuck that right off because it's not important. Why are you wasting time on it? So that is really, really helpful as well.
I love that. That's actually something that probably hasn't been mentioned a whole lot, is like the frameworks or the actual like tangible things that you get inside of the mentorship. And we're continually growing and evolving what we put in there. But we have like this our G sheet that has, I don't know, like fucking 50 tabs at this point. But it's like, here is your like weekly banking transfers sheet. This is your operating expenses sheet. This is how you track your client numbers. This is your lead generation tracker. And so mentioning the knowing your numbers, like we have all of that. And I think, there's things for every area of the business in terms of whether it's social media tracker or whether it's, tracking and time blocking and how we prioritize, or even just like knowing your values and how that aligns with your business. But I think that, for me, that's something that I've already got it. I've already created it in my business. Why would I withhold any of that from you guys? Because I think that, if I've already got a system, I've already created it, everything that's mine is yours. Like I have templates in terms of, agreements or contracts or waiver forms and stuff. And I'm like, save yourself $2,000. Here's a version that I have. Obviously not legal advice, but like you can have a look at this and see what works for you. And I think that, I guess it's more like a sharing economy in terms of how we operate inside the mentorship, in terms of like giving value to others and others giving it back and advice back and forth. And so, I love that you brought up the framework, because I think that that's something that just makes everything so much simpler and easier.
Yeah. Well, it shows that you actually care about us being successful, right? Like, why are you gatekeeping things that would actually, grow and scale our services, our businesses? That's what I think. It's like, you're actually showing us, okay, this works, do it. Here's a plug and play template, just do it and it works. Because you want us to succeed. You don't want to just like have people and it doesn't really matter if we work or not. And you do brainstorm things with us and try to, I can see that you give a lot of energy to things that are continually trying to make this work. If there are people that are struggling with things, so that's really helpful as well. It's kind of like our wins are your wins and our struggles you help us through too.
I think my approach with it is just, I treat your business as if it was my business. And so if I was you, what would I do? And that's literally just the advice that I give. And I think that, like in your position, I'm like, okay, well, this is the pros, these are the cons, like weigh them up. You can do what you want. But like, if I was you, I would just do this and this and fuck everything else off.
Yep. And I love that from you as well. Like, there's no beating around the bush. You just tell it how it is. There's no misconception. There's no misunderstanding. It's like, this is it. Do the thing. Come back, tell me how it goes. So like, if you don't do it, then it's on us, right? Like, if we don't do it, it's only ourselves that we go, oh, well, shit, I didn't do that. Probably should. So I love that.
Is there anything else that you feel like, let's say someone, like a friend was like, hey, should I join Swift Biz Academy? Like, is there anything that you would say to them to help give them, I guess, some advice before moving forward or something like that?
I had this happen the other day actually with someone who just started out her little her business. And she was sort of talking about some of the struggles I was starting with. And I was like, I was telling her about you, and I gave her your details because I was like, having someone that can direct you in where to go is just so helpful. It's just going to help you to skyrocket your business, because right now it's the hard part. I know you said this to me early on, that like business is really exponential, and it's kind of like slow, then bam, all of a sudden like you're getting this influx of clients and leads and all this sort of thing. And so that advice to get you through that first part and all the things you should be doing is really, really just so helpful. You couldn't really put a number to how helpful it is to get through that, because I think that's where a lot of businesses kind of stop too soon, because it's not that they're not going to get there, it's just it's really hard to get there, or it seems like it's hard to get there. You kind of look at it and you're like, how the hell am I going to actually grow this? Like, what am I going to do if it does keep going this slow? So having that real startup of let's get everything, all your ducks aligned in a row, and you give that to people. You, like I said, you give them the systems, you give them the advice, you get them set up, and then you help them really fast track everything and grow quickly to get out of that first hard bit.
I love it. And thank you for that. I'll keep an eye out for her. I appreciate that. But I think that's so true. I think the first 100K in a business as a sole trader is the hardest, because you're doing everything, you're figuring everything out for the first time. Like the second 100K is like so much easier. Like it's you are so close to that precipice of kicking over into like having a 2 in front of anything that you're doing, because of the fact that like you've got systems, you've got strategies, and we're only going to streamline that more. So I'm excited for that. What's the future of you business looking like? Where are we headed now? I know the group stuff is quite fresh and new. The facility is there. What next?
So next is going to be, so like I said, I'm working on my group program, so both the in-studio and online stuff, to really set me up in a financial position to hire someone, because I need to have some time back so I can keep growing with these other goals, whether that is my speaking, because I absolutely love that, and I didn't realize how much I would love it. So it's definitely an avenue I want to go down now. But yeah, I would also love to hire some staff to help more people in the area, but also to help mentor some, up and coming EPs, or even an EP that's maybe been around for a little while, and help grow and build a community there. And then, I've got some other things in the pipeline as well that I'm really excited to expand on soon, because it's also, it's probably a separate entity, but it's also there to be that extra add-on, I suppose, to people I'm working with now that I can't really provide them with at the minute. And I want to talk through these different ways to help improve their health. It's not really accessible here. So I'm kind of like, well, let's bring that in. Let's find a way to actually have that here for you, for your health, to benefit even more. So I'm very excited about that.
I love that. Yeah. We're going to have to talk about that offline.
Yes, we are.
I am very excited about it. But you have already hired, because you have a Swift assistant.
True. Very true. I have got my first little hire.
So talk to us about how that started and how it's going.
Yeah, so that was really, I needed someone to take the mundane tasks off my day. The stuff that, it does stress you out. It's like, I've got to invoice people, I've got to sort these payments out, I've got to, reconcile my account systems and all that. And that was just taking too much time out of my day, or focus out of my day. So I was like, I need to find a way to get rid of this. And yeah, that's when, you'd been talking about the Swift Assist stuff for a while, and just seeing you utilize these assistants the way that you do, I was like, okay, I need to try this. I need to give this a try. The first few weeks are a little bit tricky, because it's that thing of, to get more time back, you got to put more time into something, right? So like teaching the VA, this is how I do things and this is how I want you to do it, and filming stuff so that they've got that recorded so they can refer back to. That was a little bit tricky, because it's like, I don't have time as it is, but just reminding myself I was doing it anyway, so I just need to film it while I was
going to say
it.
Like, it shouldn't be that much extra time, because realistically we use We use Loom, like a screen share service. Like you're already reconciling. I just tell people like hit record for the 30 minutes or whatever it takes you and just talk through every single thing, because there's going to be like variations and whatever. And then the only extra bit is like put that into a plug and play template that we've already created for you, and then say, watch this video and complete it. Here's my login details.
Yeah, so that's what it's like now, and it's really good because now I just go through and just check that things are still going through. I guess that's the where it is going now. Most of the time I don't even have to think about it or look at it, or if there is something, I just sort of send a little message and be like, hey, how's this going, or is there a reason that this has been missed, or I've added a new task, can you do that? Or if there are new things that I need to record, now it's just kind of I need to do that. I need to do it and not do it when I'm like lying in bed and I'm just like, I need to do it where you can actually see me filming this. So yeah, no, that's going well, because like I said, I don't think I've even really thought about those tasks in forever, which is super helpful because it gives you your time back to do actually more important things.
Totally. And so how many hours a week are they doing and taking off your plate and like your mental capacity, I guess, as well, right?
Yeah. Look, I just got sent my little timesheet the other day. I haven't looked at it yet, but as a minimum, about 2.5 hours a week. But it's definitely can be more because there are a few tasks I am needing to offload. So that, yeah, it's going to start increasing a little bit more, because I don't really need to be wasting my time putting a program together through my my app if I write the program and then can be like, right, because that stuff takes freaking time. It takes hours to do that shit, and it's so frustrating.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so it's like, well, if I can write it and give you all the details and you just plug it and play and then send it, then amazing.
Totally. And there's so many things, like you said, like the reconciling, like putting a program from a Google Doc into like your app or whatever it is, that yes, it's going to take a little bit of time up front, but like forever now, you have at least 2.5 hours back in your business. I think another misconception is people are like, oh, well, I have to have 10 to 20 hours a week to hire a Swift assistant or whatever. Most agencies, yeah, you do. Like 20 hours is probably a minimum. And then they give you like no fucking support. I think the thing that, I'm not sure how many calls with Claire you've had yet, but the thing that I think that sets us apart and how we do it is that we walk you through it. We have pre-templated things of like, hey, if you want to offload like your social media, this is exactly how we do it in our business, not like a theoretical way, like you said. But I think it's also cool because now you have that time back forever, and it is literally like half an hour a day is all you need to get started with this stuff. I think people think that it's such this uphill battle. I have to have 10, 20 hours for someone to be able to even utilize it. But because we want to make it accessible for people to get started, because we know that once it's kind of like Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop. You're like, what else can I outsource? And how do I want more time back, and fuck working on a Friday night kind of stuff. And
Yeah, and like the way I set mine up as well, which I worked out with Claire, it's not for me like a specific half hour every single day. I think I do like an hour I have doing some stuff an hour on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and then half hour on a Friday, because that's just how it worked best with my schedule and how I plan things. But yeah, down the track, if it is more like, an hour every single day, then again, the way or what tasks get done can kind of get shifted as well. So, because that was the other thing, is like, well, I don't really need half an hour a day, might not necessarily be enough time to get that one task done. It might be like, okay, well, let's actually give you an hour and you might be able to do 2 or 3 tasks in that time. And yeah, the other days it's fine. It'll just roll over to the next day. So
yeah. And I think the flexibility of it too, like it doesn't have to be X or Y, kind of like you said, like the time can be done whenever. Like realistically, they can reconcile, like some of my VAs work at like 11 o'clock at night, my time.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
Cool. Like whatever, like if you're just fucking checking that the bank statement brought in the money, like cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't give them my bank account details, but they do have most other details in my business to be able to go and manage it. And like, we have contracts in place that like, if your VA ever like did anything, the minimum that we would like go after them for is like $50,000. And if you are working in the Philippines,
a lot of money.
You are not prepared to go after that. So, like, I think the safety and the just having that kind of like moment of like, I know and I can trust these people, and we have actual legal things in place to make sure that you feel comfortable. Probably really
and I
helps.
think one of the things for me as well is like I said, if you are giving them a lot of the business things, but most of that they can't do anything with anyway because you're setting the restrictions. So like even reconciling, my accounts through Xero, they're on a whatever that maybe the admin task thing is. So there's only select things that they can actually do. So that is, I guess, one of the things that a lot of people might have that reserve for. It's like you literally can set up their permissions, and if you don't want to give them certain things, they can't access it anyway. So so it works out and it helps a lot to take the, like I said, the little tasks that need to get done, but just a time consuming off your plate.
And the mental energy of like, oh, I have to do this again, but like if I don't, then I don't get paid, and like that's a pretty big deal, right? I don't want to take up too much more of your time because I know you're a busy gal, or more so you're a productive gal who's doing some incredible things. I don't like the word busy. I think busy is a bit of a scapegoat word that people just throw out with no real
because you can be busy and do like, shit kicker tasks and not actually doing anything important, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So busy is out of my vocab, and I call people out on it, so I'm not going to use it. But what I like to finish the podcast episodes with is maybe like an actionable, well, it is not maybe, an actionable item someone could take today, this week, to help progress in their business that you think would be really impactful for them to maybe build some confidence or to take the next step in if they need to hire a mentor? What do you feel would be helpful?
I think, like I said, the biggest thing for me was providing that extra value to your clients, and it could be literally whatever it is that you're doing, just providing that little bit of a step extra. I think if you don't have a business coach, and I say this to everyone, like pretty much no matter what industry they're in, I'm like, if someone's starting up a business or taking over a business, like you need to get yourself a business coach because they've done the work. Find a good one, obviously. They've done the work. They just make it so much easier for you, but it also just provides someone as a sounding board to work your problems through, or they provide you solutions that you would never have thought of because they've been there, they've done it. And I think it's like the best thing you can do for your business. And like that little quote, again, something that you not sold me on early days, but what was it, like 100% of successful business owners have mentors?
Yeah.
Like 100%, every single one of them. So it's like, well, if every single successful person has mentors, maybe there's something in that. Because it's not like maybe 5% have made it on their own, right? Like it's 100% have had someone coaching them through. So, but yeah, the value thing, if you're just providing what you're telling people you're providing and not giving them more, that would be something to look at.
I love that. That is awesome. So over deliver.
Over deliver. Yeah,
love that. Awesome. Okay, people may want to reach out to you. Maybe they want to talk about PCOS. Maybe they want to do a partnership with you. Where can they find you?
Best place to find me will probably be on Instagram because it's pretty much the only real platform I bother with at the minute. So that's pcoscoach.chloe. Find me on there, DM me, follow me, and we can have further chats. I'm super happy to reach out and chat, and whether it's PCOS or, like I said, whether it's partnerships or even just to talk about my experience with you. Super happy for people to find me on there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chloe. Have a kick-ass day.
Awesome.
And
I
think I'll see you tomorrow.
I think you do, yeah.
Yep. Beautiful. See you then.
See you then.
Coach, don't forget we have open enrollments for the 2024 intake of our business mentorship. We start this on February 5th, but tickets often sell out for our 12-month program well in advance. So if this is something you've been considering, I would not wait on this because I absolutely cap this and make sure that everyone inside the program has an incredible experience and gets all of the support they need for a full 12 months to feel confident as hell in everything that you're doing, not just in your technical skills, but in your business as a health professional as well. Link again is in the show notes, and I cannot wait to chat to you when you chuck in your application form. Speak soon.
I have a tiny favor to ask of you, and that is to just hit that subscribe button if you have not done it yet. If you've made it this far, then I hope that this has been valuable for you and for us to get more incredible guests in front of your earlobes and faces. If you're watching us on YouTube, then please do that now. And if you have any feedback or suggestions for me, or something that was a golden nugget that really stood out to you in this episode, I would absolutely love if you flicked me a message over on Instagram at Xenia Wood Official. Until next episode, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.